I just love the march at the end so much. A wizard should know better. Ah! This is the last march of the Ents. I'd love to rank all 6 of the Lord of the Rings films. Let's go on with it, shall we? Number 6 is The Battle of Five Armies. While I like the Battle of Five Armies, I think it's a well-made film for the most part. I do think that it showed signs of the Hobbit trilogy being stretched out and just being overblown. I think that the Hobbit trilogy could have been 2 movies instead of 3, and it showed in the Battle of Five Armies. But I do think that this movie is still entertaining. I like all of the characters involved. I like the Battle of the Five Armies, even though I think that there is way too much CGI in the movie. It looks sometimes like a video game, and I think that there are way too many jokes, and it takes me out of the moment a few times. But I still like where everything goes, although the movie I think wraps up way too quickly compared to, let's say, Return of the King, where that ending had a lot of complaints that it was way too long. Here, The Hobbit, the ending is way too short. So I still love Gandalf, I still love Bilbo, and I just enjoyed the movie overall. I think it's a damn good, entertaining film. And the weakest for me in the Hobbit trilogy, but still solid, good time. Number 5 is An Unexpected Journey. I think that Unexpected Journey is a great start to the overall trilogy. I like the characters and the world. Just going back to Middle Earth, I thought was just a delight. And I thought that Ian McKellen here kills it as Gandalf, and the actor here that really shines is Martin Freeman as Bilbo. I think he's absolutely terrific. I just love Martin Freeman in this role. I think he's wonderful, and just all the dwarves I think are actually likable. I don't think that Peter Jackson gave them each a personality like he said he would, but I do think that they are interesting enough. But of course, the best dwarf is Thorin Oakenshield. I think he is my favorite of all of them, and I think that Richard Armitage plays him beautifully. So, An Unexpected Journey is my second on the list, and the soundtrack to this movie is also terrific. I think the soundtrack is just amazing. My number 1 favorite Hobbit film is The Desolation of Smaug. I think that movie is action-packed, and I remember when I first saw it, I thought there was like 40 minutes of the movie left. But then the movie ends on a cliffhanger, and Smaug goes after Lake Town, and you're just like wondering what on earth is gonna happen next. And it just finishes. It's one of the most abrupt endings I've ever seen in my life, and I love it to this day. But I sort of saw like the cracks in the storytelling. I sort of realized that the movie should have been 2 movies instead of 3, but I still love the ending. I still love how this movie ends. I love the entire journey. I love how we see Bilbo slowly being corrupt by the One Ring. I think that this movie was done really well. Number 3, we have Two Towers. Two Towers to me is an incredible achievement. I love almost everything about it. There's some things that I think could have been better. I think that some story ideas were changed from the book, but overall, I just love almost every scene in this film. I think that it's just an action-packed adventure, and I love the three stories that we have in there. I love Barry Pippin with Treebeard, and Gandalf, Gimli, and Legolas going to Edoras, and also Sam and Frodo going out into Mordor to destroy the ring with Gollum. I love the scene where Gandalf returns and he is witnessed by Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli in Fangorn Forest. I think that's a beautiful scene, as well as Gandalf doing the exorcism on Theoden. Bernard Hill is one of my favorite parts of this entire film. And I think that Bernard Hill is incredible as Theoden King, and he just plays the part beautifully. I just love this entire scene where Gandalf goes directly in talking to Theoden while there's action happening in the background, but the camera keeps on Gandalf, almost like the other stuff isn't important. I love how Peter Jackson directs the entire moment. I think it's super well done. And I love in the Two Towers how we see that Saruman's betrayal really hurt our heroes. If he had just stayed good, I mean, we would have the orcs from Mordor to deal with, which is already insane. But I think that the heroes could have managed it, but then Saruman turned evil. You can tell that Saruman really he's an asshole. Saruman's an asshole. that's all there is to it. I think it's just a fantastic film. It's really well made, and I love this movie. I think it's just wonderful. My number 2 favorite Lord of the Rings film is Fellowship of the Ring. Fellowship of the Ring, I think, is a masterpiece. It's just incredible. I have nothing bad to say about this movie. Just the opening act alone in the Shire, where we meet our main characters, Frodo, Bilbo, and Gandalf comes to Bilbo's 111th birthday. And then Frodo needs to leave because he finds out that Bilbo has Sauron's ring, and they are pursued by the Black Riders, and they must go with Merry and Pippin and Aragorn to Council of Elrond, and then the Fellowship is formed, and they head out to Mordor. I thought it's just an amazing scene. I think that Fellowship has so many highlights, so many great moments. The cast is amazing. All the actors are wonderful in their respective roles. And the characters are also perfect. You care about them. You follow them on this journey for 3 movies, and you're absolutely delighted and entertained throughout the entire trilogy. The Moria scenes are brilliant. I love the conversations between Gandalf and Frodo. The screenplay is just fantastic. The villains are just so real and menacing. You feel the stakes. Sauron is interesting, and I love Saruman as well. I think that Christopher Lee plays him beautifully. And the direction by Peter Jackson, of course, is incredible. I think that Peter Jackson was the perfect guy to direct Fellowship of the Ring, because he made horror films before he did this, and you can tell that this movie has horror elements, but as well as a light tone. It has an adventure to feel. It's an adventure film. And I think that Peter Jackson just did a fantastic job directing this movie. I could have not hoped for anything better. I think this movie is just absolutely amazing. It's brilliant. It's just an effing masterpiece, and I think that it's really doesn't get old. I can watch Fellowship of the Ring any day, and I will still love it. I think it's a masterpiece. My number 1 favorite Lord of the Rings film is Return of the King. I think that movie is just a masterpiece once again. It's my favorite movie of all time. I just think that everything here works. The cast, music, the characters, the special effects, the story. And there's so many epic moments in this movie. I think the Battle of Minas Tirith is just incredible. I love when Aragorn, Gimli, and Legolas go into the caves to get the army of the undead. I just love so many moments in this movie, and I don't mind the long ending. I just think that this movie deserved it. I think it deserved like half an hour wrap up. I think it's one of the best parts of this movie, actually, that the ending takes its time, and it's kind of a slow burn after they destroy the ring in the lava. So I think that Return the King is just a brilliant achievement. I think it's the best movie ever made, in my opinion. I just love it. I love it to death, and it's the movie that actually won the most Oscars to this day. It's actually won all the Oscars that it was nominated for, and I think that was 13, if I remember correctly. So I think this movie is absolutely awesome. And yeah, so this is my list, my ranking for all of the Lord of the Rings films. I think that the first trilogy, the original trilogy, is fucking fantastic. There are really rarely any movies that live up to it. And I think that the Hobbit trilogy is damn good as well. I don't think it's amazing, I don't think it's credible, but I really enjoy all three movies, even though Battle I don't like as much. So let me know how you rank all of the Lord of the Rings films down in comments below. Please subscribe. See you next time.